A warm welcome to all of you watching this session. I am Tanisha and I will be hosting today's session. Today I have with me Mr. David Ngasura Tuei, the author of the book The Once Powerful Talai Clan, A Trail of Tears. Welcome, Mr. David, and congratulations on successfully completing the monumental feat of writing and publishing your book. On behalf of the entire team of excellerbooks, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your achievement, and we take great pride in being part of this project. Thank you so much, sir, to give your time and to make this interview successful. So, before starting with the interview part, I will be really happy to introduce you first of all. So, Mr. David was born in 1952 at Keriko's Talai Youth Concentration Camp and attended school in his locality. He worked for major tea companies like Brooke Tea and Unilever Tea Limited. Now retired, he is focused on the Kipsigis Talai for his thesis project, and he has also written books to uncover the history of the Talai clan. The once powerful Talai clan, A Trail of Tears, is a short history from a long and complex account of the Kipchis community among the Kalenjins and the Maasai of Kenya. The Talai clan staged an unparalleled resistance to the British colonial powers at the establishment of the Kenya colony. The book is about the history of the Kipchis Talai from the 18th century to the date. Their culture, their tradition, their government system, and the resistance to the British colonial power in Kenya and historical injustice. But they have remained unheard of fighters in the published history of Kenya. So we are joined with you, sir, today, and we would like to know more about your clan, your tribe, and about the struggles that have faced for years and centuries. So you can proceed.
Right. Um, so, thank you very much for your question. First, my name is David Ngasura Tuei from the Kipsigis Talai of Kenya. I'm the author of the Once Powerful Talai Clan A Trail of Tears book. I sincerely thank the Exceller book publisher for publishing the book in December 9, 2021. The book now has a great following in Kenya and globally. And for your And for your question, what motivated me to write this book about this lesser known history of the Talai is as follows. I've mentioned to you that I am a member of the Talai. This community, because they championed the resistance of the British colonial administration in their country, the colonial government banished them to another country in Kenya under Libon Removal Ordinance of 1934, which was passed by the Colonial Legislative Council, equivalent to the Parliament of Kenya during the colonial time, and was assented by King George V. The Talai, who the colonial government called them Libons, as they were cousins of the Maasai Libons from Kenya, were forcefully moved to Gwasi, a hardship area infested with mosquitoes, fly, no rivers, a dry land, with aim that the Talai would perish there and disappear on earth, as per some colonial documents which I have. Some unmarried Talai youths, after protesting, were brought back to Kipsigis country in 1945 so as to come and get wives from the Kipsigis people, as they could not marry the Luo women from Gwasi because of the culture and traditions of the Talai did not allow that. These youths were kept in a detention camp in the Kericho town, known as the Kericho Libons Youth Concentration Camp. This is where my father was among the youths, and he married my mother in 1946, and I was born at the detention camp in 1952. In the eve of Kenya's independence in 1962, all Talais were brought back to the Kipsigis County by the colonial government, only to find no land. They were dumped within the Kericho Township to await resettlement, and they are still living there in slums known as Laibon Village. I was lucky to have gone to school up to high school. A religious institution gave me a sponsorship to do computer course in Nairobi in 1976 to 1977, and I was later on employed by Brookbond Tea Kenya Limited in 1979, a tea farm in Kenya, and was posted to their Nairobi office. While in Nairobi, I approached my area member of parliament and requested him to request the government to settle the landless Talai at Kericho town. He promised that he would ask the question in parliament on the settlement of the Talais, which he did. The parliament was interested in more information of the Talai, so he told me to give him more information of the Talai before the colonialists came, during the colonial time, and after the colonialists left. So this prompted me to do more research on Talai as to so as to give to my area member of parliament. So that was how I started my research. Methodology of my research was interviews. I did oral interviews of old women, old men from Talai and non-Talai. Two, I got information from written colonial documents, books by anthropologists, archival records, and on internet. All these helped me, and I realized that Talai had a rich history which had not been published by anyone. I'm happy that the Exceller Books publisher published my book, which is now appearing on several links all over the world.
Thank you so much. And that explains the entire thing about your struggles, not only your struggle, about the struggle and how they have managed to be still in the mainstream of Kenya. And also, coming to the next question, when I was going through your book, I saw that your clan, Kipsige's clan, Talai clan, it was absent from the mainstream history of Kenya. It was not included in the mainstream history of Kenya. And what do you think? Why? What happened to that clan that the government or the party who was in the top rank actually was ruling Kenya at the time? They didn't bother to take care of this particular clan or particular tribe.
Here are some of the insights into factors that may have contributed to the Talai's relative obscurity in Kenya's published history. One, history bias. Kenya's published history has often focused on major political events, prominent leaders, and communities that played a significant role in the country's struggle for independence. Smaller communities like the Kipsigis Talai may have been overlooked or not given equal attention due to historical bias or the lack of documentation. Two, oral tradition. The Kipsigis Talai, like many other indigenous communities, have a rich oral tradition their history, culture, practices, and contributions, but more importantly, their tribulations may have been primarily transmitted orally through generations. Three, marginalization and discrimination. History. Certain indigenous communities in Kenya have faced marginalization and discrimination, particularly during and even after colonial rule, and which contributed to their exclusion from the published history. Socioeconomic factors, limited access to education.
Okay. Yes. It explains well. So, I for now in today's time. So, what is the condition of the Talai clan, and what are the exact, if not exact, what are the approximate population strength, and what is the current socioeconomic condition of this particular clan? Is the government, Kenya government, is still is looking, or still avoiding, or it is neglected? What is the current situation of this clan?
The current situation of this clan is that we are really suffering. We are most of the Talai people, as I've told you, have not gone to school because of a lot of challenges. We don't have land. So we are not like any other citizens of Kenya. We have been marginalized. We are a minority group. The Talai community now in Kericho, we are about 5,000 families. Thank you.
So it is almost it is a basically a endangered uh, like clan or tribe in your country. So how can you do, how can you still make this clan alive for centuries to come? Is there any way so that you can the tribe can be survived?
From my research findings, I realized that the colonial government was responsible for the Talai's misfortunes and injustices. Some of the things that I've done were first, in September 2009, I wrote a petition letter to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth of the UK, giving a brief history of the Talai versus British colonial government in Kenya, citing the injustices meted by the colonial government, and that the Talai community was requesting compensation from the British government for what the Talai lost from the time they were banished to Gwas in 1934. Her reply was that the petition was referred to the then Right Honorable David Miliband, MP, the Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs, so that he may consider the points raised. However, I or the Talai community have never received any communication from him or his office to date. Secondly, in the year 2014, I gave Talai memorandum to Kericho County Governor, who, after studying it, gave to the County Assembly to debate on it. The County Assembly passed the motion on the Talai and recommended that the British government should pay compensation to the Kipsigis and Talai communities for the historical injustices, and also should apologize for the historical injustices made to the Kipsigis and Talai communities. Also, in the year 2015, the county government engaged lawyers to pursue the compensation case. From UK was Mr. Karim Khan, the QC, the current ICC prosecutor, and team. And from Kenya was Advocate J.K. Bosek and team. The registration of the historical injustices victims started. The case was presented to the British government, but they turned down the case, saying that it was time barred, that it should have been brought within 30 years of independence. The case was then taken to United Nations Human Rights Rapporteurs in Geneva, who, after deliberating on the case, ruled the case on our favor and requested the British government to pay compensation and apologize for the injustices. The British government still stood firm, and the case was taken to the European Union Human Rights Court, where it is now. Also, several major institutions who are following the Talai case visited Kericho to interview the injustices victims, like the BBC, the Guardian, the Telegraph, the VOA, Voice of America, the CGT of China, Korean TV, CAN, among others, even from India television, so as to inform the world about the case. The Talai case has now become an international human rights episode. So I really have done a lot. I've done a lot.
Absolutely. You have really done a lot. Even when I was researching on your book, and I was going through the chapters of your book, and I was also Googling regarding Talai clan and its history. And on all the articles that I read, your name was mentioned. No
Yes.
one's name was mentioned. Your name was the only name that I saw on all the articles, 2 to 3 articles I read on internet. And you so from there I understood the contribution that you have for your own plan actually, and you have gone to a like far extent. You have covered the international media, which sometimes become very difficult, to reach to those media, because when your own country, your own government is not giving you support, is not giving you a helping hand, so you are approaching to the international media, you're approaching to the international country. It takes a lot to to reach there, and you have done that. And people all over the globe is reading about Talai clan. Today I am sitting in India. I didn't know about this clan, about its existence, but since reading your books and your articles on internet, I have also learned, my entire team has learned regarding the exceptional struggle they have faced till date. And I really hopeful that this clan must not become endangered, or it must not extinct. Every clan must have their own identity, and every clan must have their own standing in their own society, because these are the primitive clan of a country. So if such primitive clan vanishes or it extincts, so the root of the country, the cultural root of the country, might get degraded. So, coming to the next question, what personal and emotional aspects were involved in bringing the history to light? You have already mentioned that you have gone to the UK media, you have gone to Queen Elizabeth, and you have given letters, and you have also gone to, I think, Christopher Nolan. I was just going through a mail where you have written to us that you have given a letter to them regarding the Talai clan, and you want to make a movie on it. Is it?
Yes, to answer you, first, the Talai book which I authored has made me to be very excited. First, as I'm doing this presentation now, some institutions in Kenya have proposed me for a National Heroes Award, which the President of Kenya always awards heroes on 20th of October every year during the Heroes Day celebration. This is very emotional to me. I never imagined this in my life. My work has been recognized nationally. I can show you what I was sent to feel for the Heroes nomination. Also, some readers of the book nationally and globally have really liked the history of the Talai. Like someone from UK, a Briton, who said that he bought the Talai book during the Christmas holidays in December 2022, and he read the book in a record time in 2 days because he found it to be very exciting and informative. He contacted me to congratulate me for the book and asked me if I had anything I wished him to assist me as regards the book's issue. I told him that a filmmaking institution from Kenya, in conjunction with the Egerton University of Kenya, wishes to adapt the book into a non-fiction historical film. They have written script for the film, and they have a proposal and budget for the film's production. They have been looking for the sponsors for the production of the film, which is of 20 episodes. The budget for the 20 episodes is over US dollars 500,000. The UK Talai Books follow-up promised to assist to look for the film's production partners or sponsors, and advised that we first produce the first episode and the proceeds from the first episode to finance gradually the rest of the 20 episodes. We accepted his proposal. He is yet to get the sponsors and partners. The script is already there. Maybe I can show you the tea that our friend in UK is doing for us the Talai. This is the box that you will get in supermarket, and inside the box you will get this sachet of tea,
Wow.
Scotch
Wow.
blood
So
tea.
this this tea is grown by the Talai clan.
No, we are not growing, but the Mzungu in
The
UK
land.
or the yes wants to assist us
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get money from the tea, although we don't grow. So what he's doing is packaging tea in UK,
yeah. Okay, with the name of the Talai clan.
yes, and the profits from this tea he will give us.
Wow.
And
I think that's a great initiative taken by UK. This is great
yes,
actually.
and inside that box, which everybody will see, there is this leaflet to
Okay.
tell whoever will buy the tea about the Talai. I'm very happy with this because it is one of the avenues of marketing the Talai book.
Yes, yes. Not only a marketing, this is a huge achievement as well. You have been nominated for a civilian award in your own country by Kenyan government, and also you are doing this premium level of marketing or promotion for your own plan to a first world country. This is indeed brilliant and difficult in itself.
Finally, as I conclude my narration or my interview, I have this to say, which I've been telling everybody. I've been telling the government of UK. I've been telling all the NGOs, human rights institutions. This is what I've been telling them. The Talai have suffered for more than 70 years since being deprived of their ancestral land in 1934 under the Libon Removal Ordinance of 1934. Since then, they have not had a permanent settlement of known peace like the majority of other Kenyans. I cannot think of any other ethnic group that has suffered this level of human rights deprivation today in Kenya or globally. Yes, our four leaders resisted the colonialists and were killed, exiled, or imprisoned. But the most interesting or saddest thing is nowhere and never in the history of African reaction of European intrusion if a whole community of innocent children, women, old men have been exiled with their livestock. They were not given a chance to defend themselves in a court of law. Normally, leaders would be exiled or jailed. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of Kenya, and Nelson Mandela of South Africa are examples, but not hundreds of innocent people. This was the worst violation of the human rights by the British colonial government in Kenya. Thank you for interviewing me. I'm David Ngasura Tuei, the author of the Once Powerful Talai Clan, A Trail of Tears book, published by the Exceller Publisher of India in December 2021.
So it's great interviewing you. You have already mentioned all the struggles and even the situation which is Kenya regarding the plan. So, you can also see the positive side of it because you are the only person who have laid this plan to the global media, uh, not only to the national media but to the global media, and you will be also receiving award on that Heroes Award. And I think this will be a momentary effort, or a award for lifetime or for the survival of your plan. And I really congratulate on that. You have gone too far to save and to survive your clan. And I can see the love that you have for your clan, and that's incredible.